Hello everyone. In this model 28, we are going to learn about assumptions of Vygotsky theories of cognitive development. After completion of this model, you will be able to know about the Vygotsky theories of cognitive development, identify the zone of proximal development, and understand the scaffolding and level of development. And also, you will be able to know about the implications of Vygotsky theories of cognitive development. Okay, let me discuss about the some assumptions of Vygotsky theory. Assumptions of Vygotsky theory is that though both informal and formal conversations of adults. Further, MKO conveyed to the children's way their culture and interprets and responds to the world, and especially as adults interacts the child's the shows the meaning they attach to objects and events and experiences. For example, let us assume the father's reading to his daughter's book about transportations. The book may containing pictures of different modes of transportations such as car, bike, bus, train, aeroplane, boat, ships, etc. etc. So by pointing out of each of these pictures along with the calling of their respective names, the father helps the child and understand how our society classifies the different modes of transportation. The second assumption is that the thought and language become increasingly independent by during the first few years of its growth, so that the language become increasingly independent during the first few years of its growth. The third assumption explains that the complex and mental process of begin as social activities. As children develop, they gradually internalize process they use in social context and begin to use the independently. And internalization of process allows the children to transform ideas and process to make them unequally their own. For example, the children and the fathers are simply reading the book, but this social activity is transforming the way the child perceives the modes of transportation. So she will begin to classify these items herself when she sees cars, trucks, bus, boat, ships, and real life settings. Okay. So next one is the zone of proximal development. So zone of proximal development that is classified into two things. One is the level of actual development, and next one is the level of potential development. So the level of actual development refers to the upper limit task a child can perform individually at present. So level of potential development is refers to the upper limit of task a child can perform with assistance of more competent individuals. That is called as the MKO. So, for examples, in our illustrations, the young children's exhibited that is actual development was that he knew the blocks belonged to the holes, but he could not quite determine how to actually put them in. So his level of potential development was being able to put blocks in appropriate holes with the help of his father and advanced individuals. So we would not expect the children to able to sort the blocks into the colors and shapes, or to do anything beyond the skills that exhibited with the assistance of his father and his father. The fifth assumption of the challenging task promote the maximum cognitive, so that the challenging task promote the maximum cognitive growth. So Vygotsky described this zone of proximal development or commonly referred as ZPD. So that ZPD is a range task and that the children can perform with the help of guidance of others cannot yet perform independently. For that, ZPD is the gap between the present, that means actual development, and the possible potential level of development. So Vygotsky believed that through the help from other more knowledgeable people, the child can potentially gain knowledge already held them. So, however, the knowledge must be appropriate for the child's level. One, the comprehensions. However, the knowledge must be appropriate the child's level of comprehensions. So that anything is that complicated for the child to learn is not in the ZPD cannot be learned at the until there is a shift of ZPD. So that means the zone of proximal development. So that when a child has attained the potential, this shift occurs and the child can continue learning more complex of higher level material. So in these pictures clearly explain about that the beyond the reach of presence and potential development and current level. So providing a scaffolding match the child's performing in the ZPD source. When the adult more knowledgeable persons, then the child provides supports. They will adjust the amount of help given depending on the progress. For example, the child learning to walk night at the first have both hands and pulled upwards as it lands to support of one weight, and mother might holds the both of its hands loosely, then she might just hold on hand and then eventually nothing. So thus the progressions of different levels of help is scaffolding draws the parallel from the scaffolding for buildings. So it is used for support for the construction of new material, the skill of informations to be learned. So and then removed once the building is complete, the skill information has been learned. So the seventh assumptions of Vygotsky theory is play allows to stretch themselves cognitively. So play allows the children to take a roles of normally to be able to perform in a real life. For example, 5-year-old girl, the child may not be able to serve the mothers in real life, but through make a believe or play, she is able to exhibit behavior expected of a mother by training a 3 years old child by her baby. As for that, she may pretend to prepare a food, dress baby, and cradle of a baby and make it sleep, etc. So, though it may be impossible for 5-year-old carry out the physically the role of functions of a mother, she may be act them and which her cognitive ability get expressed. So, when we summing up these theories of cognitive development, especially for the assumption of cognitive development, we can state the following of contributions of Vygotsky in understanding the cognitive development of children. So, emphasize the role of teachers' cognitive development and the need of how support from the more knowledgeable others. That means MKO. The zone of proximal development differentiates between the learners of current development and his potential development when being taught from MKO. The scaffolding provides an effective way to reach potential level of development, but only when different levels of assistance are given and when required. The social cultural tools are the important means the gaining of intelligence. There is a close link between the acquisition of language and other development of thinking and internalizing monologues and therefore becoming a verbal think is the stepping stone of higher level of thinking. Okay, let me discuss about the educational implications of Vygotsky theories of cognitive development. So that the interactions with the teacher helps and guidance and participations in social activities all are important the cognitive development of children. Sociocultural knowledge helps in the growth of intelligence in children. The teacher help and guidance require the students and perform higher levels of task as against their present performance level. The challenging task and promote the maximum cognitive growth in children also. So the scaffolding takes place in the children's from the way now the what they are to now. The essentials making the teaching learning process more effective. The speech and language help in the cognitive development of children. Therefore, teaching through one mother tongue is highly fruitful. So the social interactions with the teachers and the older students and more beneficial than the self-learning. So playway method of teaching is highly effective for teaching young children. Okay, I hope you might understand the concept of Vygotsky assumptions of cognitive development and also the educational implications of Vygotsky. Okay, thank you viewers. Thank you for watching. We will meet in the another module.
Theory of social development argues that community and language play a central part in learning. While Jean Piaget concluded that children's cognitive development happens in stages, Vygotsky rejected his ideas and believed that children develop independently of specific stages as the result of social interactions. Vygotsky claimed that we are born with 4 elementary mental functions: attention, sensation, perception, and memory. It is our social and cultural environment that allows us to use these elementary skills to develop and finally gain higher mental functions. This development ideally happens in the zone of proximal development. First, there is what we can do on our own. Then, there is the zone of proximal development, which represents what we can do with the help of an adult, a friend, technology, or what Vygotsky called the more knowledgeable other. Last, there is what's beyond our reach. To illustrate this, let us think of twins who were raised in a community in which boys are expected to learn and succeed, while girls are only expected to be pretty. At the age of 10 months, both have the ability to crawl and are in the zone of proximal development for learning how to stand on their feet. The more knowledgeable other, in this case the father, provides the boy with opportunities to practice in a playroom that he has equipped with scaffolding and other objects. The boy is encouraged to explore the equipment, and eventually he uses it to pull himself up. A few hours later, he's cruising along the structures, and a few days later, he's standing on his feet. The girl also has the potential to stand, but does not receive any support in learning the skill. When we compare the two, we see that while the girl is still trying to get up, the boy has moved into a new zone. He knows how to balance while standing and now has the potential to learn how to walk. Both will eventually learn how to walk, but according to Vygotsky, the boy will be more skilled. The same principles apply to all learning and the development of higher cognitive functions, and only those learning with the assistance of a capable mentor can reach the full potential of their ability. Vygotsky therefore believed that inside the zone of proximal development, learning can precede development, which means that a child is able to learn skills that go beyond their natural maturity. He also established an explicit connection between speech and mental concepts, arguing that inner speech develops from external speech via a gradual process of internalization. This means that thought itself develops as a result of conversation. Therefore, younger children who don't finish this process can only think out loud. Once the process is complete, inner speech and spoken language become independent. Lev Vygotsky died of tuberculosis in 1934 at the age of 37. Despite his young age, he became one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century. He left the following advice for educators. By giving students practice in talking with others, we give them frames for thinking on their own. What do you think? Can a child learn anything regardless of any developmental prerequisites? And do we learn only through social and cultural contexts? And if so, do you think it is appropriate for a more knowledgeable other to determine what a child should learn next? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
If you like this video and the way we explain the subject, subscribe to our channel. We try to explain complex subjects in simple language and cartoons to support students all around the world in their learning. If you want to support us, you can go to www.patreon.com/